On my channel, I often talk about the scale of human consciousness like it's a real thing. It was invented by a psychiatrist, which means a medical doctor who had a specialty in diseases of the mind. And the man's name is David R. Hawkins. And I talk about it all the time. Is there really a scale of human consciousness? His first book was called Power versus Force. And he said force was very low on the scale of human consciousness. And he said power was high consciousness. And he gave the examples of people with high power, the maximum you could get on the human scale. Buddha, Jesus, Zoroaster, whoever that was, avatars of God. Is the scale of human consciousness real? The labels seem good. You know, at the bottom of the scale, you'll have apathy, anger, grief, pride. Then you get to the point above pride where you go into, those are all considered negative traits. Then at 200 on the scale, you'll get courage. Courage to leave your negativities behind. And I don't know, you go up into, I can't remember the other names that they gave it. But, you know, if you get to 400, you'll get reason. And then 500 on a scale is love, 540 unconditional love, 600 peace, 700 enlightenment, and somewhere in the 800s you've got the void. And get past that, and then, you know, you can go up to 1,000. You can be Jesus, Buddha, or Zoroaster. And then you can use muscle testing to see where people are on the scale. Hawkins said that people who calibrate at enlightenment, which starts at 700, can be considered sages. And, you know, in his book, he said pretty much at any one time, there's no more than 6 sages on whole of planet Earth. Clancy, who is he is stuck at a very low consciousness. It means he can still talk. I mean, people that are at low consciousness, you know, you can still talk. I mean, you can have apathy and you could be like lying here on your bed. I can't get out of bed today. I've got apathy. You can still talk, you know, you can still communicate. So it doesn't mean low on the scale of consciousness that you lose your abilities to be human. But we keep wondering, this is the hat for the ice hockey team, the Winnipeg Jets. Reebok, it's named after some kind of a deer from Africa. What is the power on power versus force? According to Hawkins, Everything under 200, everything under the level of courage, in other words, pride, anger, grief, apathy, is examples of what he called force. And he said that the U.S. Marine Corps was a great example of force because he said the Marine Corps was run by pride. So he said, even pride has a lot of energy. You know, it can get those soldiers running around doing basic training, and you can send those soldiers off to war with pride. It seems stupid to me that David Hawkins would say the U.S. Marine Corps is run on pride, a negative emotion. It seems incredibly stupid to me because I can't think of anything more courageous than soldiers like the Marines. And you know, he says courage is only 200. I mean, it's just the very beginning of positivity. Now, if Hawkins was here, he'd probably say, well, some Marines Marines maybe in boot camp need a good kick in the ass. I mean, they got in with pride because they wanted to join the Marine Corps. But he did say the Marine Corps is run on pride, because I heard him say it. So what does it mean about Hawkins? It mostly means there's a lot of qualifications to what he says. But he did say that patriotism, I don't know what the number is for patriotism, but it's a lot higher than 200. So if you have a patriotic Marine, not only does he have courage, but he has a lot more than courage. He stands for something. He stands for the United States Constitution, which Dr. Hawkins said had a very high calibration number. Again, I don't know what it is. You could look it up in one of his books, maybe Truth versus Falsehood. What's the point of it all? There's no point at all. It's just that I've got this demon called Clancy. I had a little nap and I woke up and Clancy pounced on me again. I don't know what to tell you. All he wants me to keep saying is that power in Power versus Force doesn't get rid of demonic beings. And Clancy is a demonic being, an entity. They don't even call them beings usually in the literature. Something like Clancy is called an entity. Clancy wants to be your boss. He wants to be my boss, and he does a pretty good job of it because he has got abilities to torture the human body, and there's nowhere to escape from. I'm not in a cell. The cell is my body, and Clancy uses my body against me. There is really nothing but Clancy's drama. So it always comes back to, what does Clancy want? He wants attention. He's an attention whore. And, you know, what's the best book that describes Clancy and his attention whoring? The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. It's all about control drama. Drama to create control. But it's not drama. It's pure control. In other words, he loves the drama of it. No, he loves the control. He's got whiz-bang gadgets that torture He's like a Nazi doing torture on prisoners, not for the drama, because he enjoys torturing people. Dr. Hawkins said that there are these demon personalities that really enjoy torturing people. Clancy is very pleased with my video because he says, you know what? No one comes to stop me doing what I'm doing, which means Dr. Hawkins is incorrect to call, the higher states of consciousness power, because they are moving in the direction of God. He says, there ain't no God, because God never comes to protect you from demonic personalities. Who is going to protect us from demonic personalities, demonic entities? God? You look at human history, we had Hitler, we had Stalin, we had Pol Pot, we had Chairman Mao, Genghis Khan. We mostly had a whole pile of horrible demonic humans in human history, and no one could stop them. Did we stop Hitler? According to history, the Russians were encircling Berlin at the end of the Second World War. And after Hitler took all the old men and all the children and gave them guns and said, defend the fatherland, Hitler took a cyanide pill, bit down on it, and at the same time used a pistol to shoot himself in the head. We don't have any evidence of Hitler's death. After World War II, the Western powers, the United States, Great Britain, France, all the smaller countries, didn't have any evidence that Hitler was dead. There was some photos released by the Russians, but the Russians said, we found the remains. That it was a body that was burned by a gasoline fire, and that was Hitler. So there's no proof that Hitler was dead at the end of World War II. I mean, what do we have? We don't have any evidence. And even after the Soviet Union fell, supposedly fell, and they changed their name from Soviet Union to Russia, we never got any information from the Russians. Evidence. I never saw it. I mean, I could go back and look. Maybe they've released something now, DNA evidence or something. But how are you going to prove it was really Hitler? Because no one's got a sample of Hitler's. I don't know. What are you going to prove? All this was Hitler's hair or something? This was Hitler's barber and he kept some Hitler's. You're not going to prove it by DNA. What's the whole point? I don't know what the point is. Did we really get Hitler? You look at all the other people that came after Hitler. Mao came after Hitler. Stalin kept going after Hitler. Pol Pot was after Hitler. Didn't get rid of demonic personalities. That's the human condition. I'm the Winnipeg Jet.